Hey guys, it's Pinder. Welcome back to summer. But we're definitely live in the studio, working hard. Why am I smiling? Okay, yeah, you know what's up, guys. Look, it's busy between October and the end of July or end of June, I guess. We floor pretty good. And in the summer, we love to dive into some longer form stuff, some big chats with people we hope you think are interesting. Now, this is an interesting one. So last summer, Commodore was around Calgary a bunch. Everyone loves Commie. Super fun guy to be around. He is absolutely like sick for golf. Like you want to ask him about hockey. He's like, yeah, I don't really watch much. And then you're like, hey, what do you think about the President's Cup? And he's like, oh my gosh, big decision here for this guy. And this guy's form here is crazy. And, think about this course is like, he's an absolute nut for golf. So my idea last summer was let's get on the golf course, get Commie into his happy spot, get him loose. He's like a scratch, really good golfer. Have some fun on the links, maybe play a little game. And then we'll sit down on the patio afterwards, have a beer, and tell some hockey stories. Thought maybe we could spin this into something bigger, but Commie just can't get out of Scottsdale. He loves that summer heat in the desert, apparently. So this is from last summer at Stewart Creek. Big shout out to our friends in Canmore who had us out for the day. One of the most breathtaking mountain golf courses, period. And a splendid day with some wild weather with Commie. He and I hit the links last summer. We both kind of looked like cavemen at some points of our life. I had the big flow going. Commie was tight and trim. Back in his heyday, he had the big hair going. We play a little golf with Commie, and he tells us how a young kid from the prairies ended up making his NHL debut. Mike Commodore, Ryan Pinder. I had a dumb idea. Because
I thought it was pretty dumb about 30 minutes ago with the weather, but
well, we got here somehow. we'll wind it back to that. I had a really dumb idea. I always was fascinated. You'd come on the old show and you'd be like, yeah, I could talk hockey, I guess. But if we ever sort of like got into the golf lane, Mike Commodore, the eyes would light up and the stories got amazing. And it always tied back to hockey. So here we are at Stewart Creek, one of my favorite golf courses in the mountains, just an hour outside of Calgary. And we did get here.
We did.
You almost tried to pull shoot on me.
I wasn't going to pull shoot, but I was. I mean, we drove through, two major rainstorms to get here.
Yes.
The drive is only like 45 minutes to an hour. I saw a bunch of lightning. I'm like, I'm not sure if this is happening, but we're here, and I'm actually sweating right now. So
yeah, I shedded a layer.
I didn't think it was going to be possible.
Did we bring suntan lotion or what?
I always got suntan lotion, so don't worry about that.
So Stewart Creek, you played it a bunch or no?
I have. I've probably been out here a few scramble tournaments, but I probably played out here. It's got to be a minimum dozen times over the years. So there's been a few changes over the years with their 9th hole, but I've played it before that. It's a really good golf course. The front is tough. There's a couple of holes that are a little mountainy, that, if you don't hit the ball on the right side of the fairway, you're in the bush running down the mountain. But I think it's a great course. I really enjoy the back nine, but I enjoy the whole thing.
Yeah, this is one of my faves because every hole, it feels like there's a mountain view, and you're not chasing the postcard tee shots. It feels like a golf course that just happens to be in the mountains.
Yeah.
And that's a fine balance that you'll notice when you're golfing around this part of the world. What is it about golf, and when did you become a nut? Was it you got all this time in the off season? Was it you get down to an area like the Carolinas that's world famous for golf, or were you always growing up in the Edmonton area loving golf?
You know what? I enjoyed playing, but as a kid, I played a lot of baseball, so I hardly played golf.
Yeah.
I maybe took one lesson. I regret all that now. I wish I would have played a ton of golf as a kid. And basically, you kind of nailed it. Once I turned pro, I didn't play in college because I had no money.
Yeah.
And then once I turned pro, the summers are coming around, and you work out, skate. Let's say a maximum day is 3-4 hours maybe.
Yeah.
And then you got the rest of the day. So I first started playing a lot after I turned pro, and I spent my first couple summers back at the University of North Dakota. And then ever since then, it's great way to hang out with the guys, have a couple beers if you want. It gets you outside. It takes up some time. It's a game that even the guys on TV, I mean, we're never going to come close to mastering this game.
Yeah.
So every day brings a new problem. So yeah, maybe I like being frustrated and pissed off, but I do enjoy playing. It's nice to get out.
If frustration leads to beer, this is a great sport if you want to have a beer.
Because even when everything's
going right, there's always this goddamn sport. It drives me nuts.
So par here 71 used to be
Yep.
72. You talked about 9. It was par 4. It's now par 3.
Yep.
Course record 63, Commie.
Okay. Yeah.
Ooh, that's tidy out here from
That
the
is
back.
tidy. That's going to be something that we're not going to have any worries about.
No. I could do that in 9. That's not a problem.
Yeah, maybe a 9. Yeah, we got shoot under 63 in 9 holes. I hope.
The yardage just over 7,000 from the back, opened in 2000. And I don't know, it doesn't feel like it's that young, and yet here we are coming up on a quarter century. It's one of those bucket list courses.
Yep.
If you're in the Calgary area, or a guy like yourself, if you got pals coming to visit, by all means, if there's a hit list, Stewart Creek's on it.
I would say for sure. Yeah, you come out here. I mean, especially for people that haven't really experienced the Rocky Mountains. I think coming out for people that come into Calgary, whenever I have buddies come in or whatever, I definitely try and make a point of bring them out here, because you don't see.
Yeah.
Most people don't live close to the Rockies, so it is special. It's a different kind of golf for sure.
And not unlike what we saw today, you can usually get 3 or 4 seasons in a day.
Yeah,
we've driven through
definitely
2
bring
heavy rain storms, and we're
definitely.
teeing off in blue skies, perfect weather. We got a group in front of us that are looking for an extra 9. It'll be holes 19 through 27 for them.
Yeah, perfect.
Let's have some fun today.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Looking forward to it. I don't think you want this. It looks like somebody chewed on it.
Yeah. We've got the match set up. We're on the 3rd tee box. Caveman getting 5 strokes on the front. That's a lot.
5 strokes. All 5 are in the first 6 holes.
You somehow sawed off hole 1.
I'm actually lucky to get through that first hole. You were on net. We
Net
had a
1?
putt for bird for 3 for 2. I was in with a par.
Good to 3-jack from 12 feet, right?
Really wanted that birdie putt.
You got to get those out of the way early.
A little far past.
So I'm 1 up through 2, and as Mike said, I got to make hay the first 6.
No stroke
no
here.
No stroke, 7, 8, 9.
3 in a row, 4, 5, 6. And
All
those
right.
holes are tough. You're up. Oh boy. Major problem.
Even I could 3-putt from there, though.
Well, I might need you to. Great shot.
Thank you.
Right there. Okay.
Yeah, pin high.
That's not worth an F-bomb. I can putt that. Uh-oh.
Here comes the moisture.
Oh,
Tan man, cover your gear.
boy. I think we can play through this. Oh, here's the hail.
Holy shit. All right, we're rain delayed out here, Tan man. Okay, so we're even through 4. We
Even
drove
through
through like insane rain to show up to blue skies here. And
Rain and hail.
we're into the 3rd system of the day.
Yeah.
We got some hail, and this is absolutely what makes
it
mountain
is.
golf mountain
Whoa.
golf. Lightning strikes, hail.
The guys in front of us just thought they were coming back to this tent.
No.
Nope. Sorry, boys. Oh
Seats
my
taken.
God. Oh, dude.
Whoa.
Oh my God.
Get it.
Oh my God.
See ya. Oh boy.
Jesus.
All right. Well,
I do have a rain suit. I'm not sure why I don't have it on. I mean, if you want to,
no.
if there's any chance you want to play more golf, I would
That's
say
right. That's right.
we wait here for like 5 minutes. But if that's enough, then we just go back. I mean, it is blue.
Let's give it 5. See what happens.
Unless we got chainsaws in our bag, we're not getting through here.
Well, so I guess we're shaking here. That's too bad we couldn't finish the match.
Yeah, you know what? Fortunately, I don't know how we're going to get through it.
I guess we're gonna have to have a couple beers to figure this out.
Yeah, I think so. It's a great start to the match. The first one we have to call after 5 because we literally can't get past these trees.
Boomer always said five holes you could get behind.
Yeah.
None of this 18 nonsense.
Yeah, 18 is too
Hour
much
and
anyways.
change, we're good.
No.
It's been fun.
Yep. We'll
We're
do
gonna
it again.
sew in some hockey talk here. Fort Saskatchewan, Alberta Junior League,
Yep.
North Dakota,
Yep.
an NHL debut.
Yep.
That's the early
Mhm.
chapters. We've heard a lot about bathrobes in the Carolinas, and we know a lot about the 04 run, but we got a conversation coming up right after this. We'll start back from your roots and take it right through to your first NHL game.
Sounds great.
Hey guys, it's Pinder. All throughout the year, Village Honda brings you the Pinder Report for the latest in what's happening in the sports world, and maybe the odd crocodile and snake. But today, we are at your dealership for life in the Northwest Auto Mall. Let's see what's happening at Village Honda. A reminder, if you're selling your vehicle, Village Honda, your dealership for life, wants to pay you. 24 hours, cash in your hand. You don't even have to buy a new one here, although I think you probably should. Village Honda, your dealership for life, online at villagehonda.com and in the Northwest Auto Mall.
Little message for you for the Mod Medical Clinic, bearoused.ca. As men, we can be a little sensitive. We don't want to share. We don't talk about certain things. But as men get older, things happen to our bodies. We know that. It's time to stop being silly, get out in the open and talk about these things. With ViaSure from bearoused.ca, from the Mod Medical Clinic. If you're popping the blue pill, you need to learn about ViaSure. This is a non-medication approach, muscle function, breaking down scar tissue, reforming blood vessels, no pain, no downtime. But it's instead of the short-term fix or whatever you get from the blue pill, let's get our bodies right. Pelvic floor physiotherapy is what they offer as well. The team there, they're going to help you with incontinence, sexual performance, hip, lower back pain, assist the stabilization to the core, stronger, better, more confident. Does it sound good? I think so. bearoused.ca is the website. It's here in our city. They're here to help, and they're here to take away the silly embarrassment or stigma that we have about not talking about things that happen to men when they grow older. You're gonna be so happy you did it. Confidence. Pelvic floor stability. It's at the base root of all of this. We're having fun with it, but they are here to help you and make a real change in how you live your life, man. bearoused.ca. The Mod Medical Clinic is here to help.
Hey guys, it's Pinder. The NFL season, not that far away. Let's take a peek at some NFL futures on Bet365. They've got over-under rushing touchdown totals for a ton of running backs around the NFL. I'm keying in on Bijan Robinson. What a good, but maybe not the spectacular rookie season we expected last year under a oddly not dynamic Atlanta offense. Well, there's changes that have been made in Atlanta, new head coach. I think they're going to run the ball really well this year. And the over-under for Bijan Robinson rushing touchdowns is 6.5. Like 17 games. Yeah, like 6.5. I love the over. The over is -116. Bijan to rumble into the house on the floor 7 or more times, -116. Love that bet on Bet365. Reminder, this segment is brought to you by Bet365, proud partner of Barn Burner. Open an account with Bet365 today, and you can bet on a huge range of markets. So whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Use code FNBONUS. That's code FNBONUS. Let's get back to another summer edition of Barn Burner.
All right, so we're in like our third weather system.
Yeah, we are.
We got
It's been an interesting 3 hours.
5 holes played. We might have sunburn and hail damage.
I was sweating for a little bit. Needed
Trees
some
came
sunscreen. Trees coming down. Tents flying around.
Saw some bear shit right at the
Bear shit. Hail. And we played 5 holes.
This is
I mean, a full day.
mountain golf experience right here.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah, and we've played this track enough. Like, not like, oh, we shouldn't finish, but I love this course.
Yeah.
We've played it. Let's go back to the beginning.
Sure.
When did you know you were not just a guy playing sports with his buddies, but you might be able to actually do something with hockey? Because it didn't seem like you were a heavily coveted guy as a junior player. I can't imagine before that. Like, what happened? You get big? Like, walk us through how that all came to be in Fort Saskatchewan.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I would say, no, I mean, I think I would be fair to say that I would have been considered a late bloomer for sure. Really, in my own head, you know, I was okay, you know, up through, I played all my minor hockey in Fort Saskatchewan, and then I played 1 year of Tier 2 junior. You know, I went through the Bantam draft I didn't even know what the Bantam draft was.
Mhm.
I had no clue. When somebody told me I was drafted, I had absolutely no idea what they were talking about. But I think it was Tacoma. They ended up moving to Kelowna like a year or two later. But Tacoma picked me. If it wasn't the last round, it was right pretty close to it.
Okay.
It definitely wasn't the first round.
So you found out there was a Bantam draft.
I did find out, yeah. And I found out after I was picked, I'm like Tacoma. I literally just played hockey because I enjoyed competing. It was cold in Fort Saskatchewan, and I just liked to play. That was it. I did hockey, and then in the summers, I would play baseball. But I would say in my own head, Bantam, I was all right. My first year midget when I was in grade 11, I was terrible. Played in the max, but I broke my ankle that year. I wasn't very good. I barely played. The head coach didn't really want anything to do with me. And then the next year I went to camp. So when I was in grade 12, which would have been my second year midget, I went to camp actually in Strathmore with Kelowna.
Yep.
And I don't know what happened over the summer, to be honest. It's not like I grew. I didn't grow. I was always kind of bigger.
Yeah.
Something happened where I was pretty decent. So as a 16-year-old, Kelowna wanted to keep me. Now, how much would I have played? But I don't know. But at the end of camp, they definitely wanted me. They wanted to take me to Kelowna.
Sign with us.
Yeah. And I would have done that. But my parents were both educators. My mom would get, and it's way better now. It's a different thing now. But back then, my mom as a principal would see, every once in a while the horror story of a, guy going somewhere to junior and not finishing his high school.
Play one or two games.
Right, that kind of stuff, exactly. And my dad works in the WHL. He's been a scout in the WHL for 25 years, so I have absolutely nothing against the WHL. But at the time, it wasn't for me, so my dad yanked me out of there. So I would say, I thought maybe junior hockey. Mm-hmm. So I played a year for the Traders in Tier 2. And then my plan when I started that year was, well, if I can maybe have a good year with the Traders, when that's done and I get my high school done, I'm going to go play for Kelowna. That was my kind of plan. If they want me, I'm going to go. And actually let me rephrase that. The year when I was 16, the year I played with the Traders, I'm now 17. That camp, I was on the team. Peter Anholt, Bruce Hamilton, they wanted me, I was going to play.
Okay.
And so anyways, didn't end up doing that with the intentions of going back after I was done high school. And then, anyways, this is a long-winded answer to your question, but
no, it's good. It's good.
Didn't know anything about U.S. college hockey. About a month into the season, head coach came down and said, "Hey, BU wants to talk to you upstairs." I'm like, in my head, I just go, "Oh, okay, yeah, sounds good." In my head, I'm like, "What the hell is BU?" I mean, I didn't even know college hockey existed. So I'm like, okay, I'll get upstairs and BU. I'm like,
Brandon Uwe, what is this?
I have no idea. And so get up there, the assistant coach for BU is sitting there. "Hey, you ever thought about going to the U.S. college?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, for sure." I have no clue what this guy is talking about.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
He hands me the little brochure or whatever they have. I take a look. Boston University. I'm like, okay,
that's what BU stands for.
Yeah. So then a couple more schools came. So then I still didn't really take it seriously, but then they have a thing called fly downs. So the University of North Dakota was probably like the 4th or 5th team that came to see me, which I think maybe grand total. They were the only one to offer a fly down.
Yeah.
I want to say I had 4 or 5 teams, maybe maximum, that were thinking about, that were saying at least they were interested.
Mm-hmm.
So I went on a fly down. The only reason why I went is it was a trip by myself without my parents.
Yeah.
Like North Dakota, never been there. I'd never been anywhere. So I went, and at the end of the day, I went and watched 2 games. And the University of North Dakota, and I'd watched junior games in various spots, Saskatchewan and Alberta, and some of them were awesome, just like anywhere else. Some of them were awesome, and other ones maybe not so many fans. If the team's not that good, I went to North Dakota. They had a good team at the time. I mean, North Dakota hockey, for nobody who's been there, I mean, it's a big deal. It's the biggest sport in the state. I know the state isn't that big, but it's a big deal down there. So I left there. I'm like watching these games. The place is packed. I'm 17 years old.
Too, right?
Big one now. Back then it was like, I want to say 5,500 or 6,000.
Okay, so real tight before Ralph Engelstad.
Yes, before Engelstad Arena, before the one they have now. But it was like, I mean, it was a cool place to watch a game. It was a hard place for visitors to come in and play, low roof. So anyways, I left there and I'm like, well, that was awesome. I mean, half the arena students, there's a bunch of college girls running around. I'm like, this is unreal. And I'm like, why would I, if I can get a scholarship, I never took professional hockey that didn't even cross my mind.
Huh.
And I'm like, well, if I can get a scholarship, why wouldn't I do that? Then I can play hockey for 4 more years and then do whatever I'm going to do.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, halfway through my sophomore year, my freshman year, I was very young. They had just won a national title the year before. There wasn't a whole lot of minutes up for grabs. I was scratched a little bit at the beginning of the year. Then I played all the games, but I wasn't playing a whole lot. They had some pretty good D there that were eating up a lot of minutes. And then halfway through my second year, something clicked for me in between my year. I still remember we were playing Notre Dame, the Fighting Irish, at Christmas time. And the game was always so fast for me.
Yeah.
Like it was, and I had a lot of improving to do. Like all the practicing was good for me because my skating was trash. I mean, it wasn't very good at the peak of my powers. It was very bad back then, but I was getting better. And then all of a sudden, something between the years, halfway through my second year, it was like the pace of the entire game, the pace of the game went down. And all of a sudden, I didn't feel like I was rushed. All of a sudden, I was seeing more plays. I was moving the puck. I was a better player. And then I guess I would say the first time that I thought that maybe professional hockey was an option was when the Central Scouting ratings came out during that year. And I want to say I was ranked like, I don't know, maybe at the peak and maybe by the end of the year, because I had a really good second half of the year for me. Mm-hmm. I'm guessing now, I can't remember, but maybe 20th in North America.
Yeah.
So there was the Euros
skaters
too, obviously. Yeah, 20 to 30.
So goalies and skaters, Europe and North America.
Yeah.
So in the one corner, you got skaters in North America. And
I want to say around 20.
Wow.
Yeah, definitely under 40. Definitely over 10, that's for sure. But I think it was something in the 20s. So that was the first time that I was like, well, okay. And then once I actually got drafted, then I was like, okay, well, maybe this is something that somebody likes me. So that was the first time. Before then, it never even crossed my mind.
It's weird when you hear that because you see kids now and it's like they've had agents since they were 14.
Oh, yeah. It's crazy.
It's like, my nutritionist is telling me, it's like, you're 12. What do you mean you're nutritionist?
It's unbelievable.
And I'm not saying that's bad because clearly
times
they're
change.
Getting better at eating and training than players once were. But to think you didn't know, I mean, that would be impossible to explain to a kid now that you weren't aware that this was an option for you, or that there weren't people hounding you, letting you know.
Like I never had an agent. I don't think an agent said a word to me my freshman year. I could be wrong on that. Maybe towards the end. Yeah. Maybe. But definitely, now once the Central Scouting rankings came, then some people were coming then. Then I'm kind of on the radar, so to speak. Sure. But yeah, like, I've always, when I've talked about it to people and, when it comes up, like, it'd be interesting to go back if I knew what I knew now. And like, and I love my time at the University of North Dakota. I had a blast. It was
Do you think
awesome.
so? The guy with the N1 t-shirt? Hockey in North Dakota?
I had fun. It was, the practicing and stuff was good for me.
Yep.
I mean, it was no joke. Like people I laugh with some of the guys who went to junior and stuff. And when I went to college where, at least back then, it was like, oh, be careful going to junior because you'll be going out and doing all this stuff. And then like college was supposed to be like he wants to go to college.
Goody two shoes.
Yeah, exactly. Where it's like, we practice, we play 2 games a week for parts of the year. It's like a 40-game schedule if you go to the national championship. Yeah. Like you got lots of time. But the practicing and stuff was really good for me. But it would be interesting if I knew what I knew now, like to go back and, do it the other way. Mm-hmm. So instead of, even if I play my year of traders and finish my high school,
you go to Kelowna at
17. And then go to Kelowna, at the end of that year or the next year. And just to see how, in some ways I think it would have been, I don't know, it'd be interesting. In some ways I think it would have been good for me for sure because it was more of a pro game. There was more of the fighting. I missed out on some of that stuff in college and stuff. Yeah. And so it took me, I don't even know if I ever really got there. But like, if I could have gotten more comfortable with that younger, and I fought like in traders and stuff, but like if I had a little bit more experience with that, I think that would have done me some good, especially early on. But whatever, I can't.
Well, like you said, you're in the gym and there's your skating work.
Yeah,
and
big time.
There's not a lot of time for that when you're traveling across
big time
4 provinces and a couple states. I mean, there's absolutely not a right and a wrong way in these things. No. There's just different advantages and pros and cons of each.
Yep.
Was it Dave Haxtell there?
No, Dave Hackstall was there. Would have been a few years after I was gone.
Okay.
I stayed for 3 years.
So who was your coach and what kind of impact was there there?
Dean Blaze was my coach.
Oh, no way. Okay.
Yeah, so the world junior guy, was the associate head coach in Columbus for a little bit, but then he was at Omaha for a long time. Yeah, I like Dean. He was good for me. He didn't mess around.
Yeah.
He was very serious. But at the same time, he also hey, if you worked hard for him, by and large, and if he knew you were working and putting the work in and showing up on time, he would cut you some slack too. So yeah, I like Dean. I mean, like any other head coach, there were some guys that didn't have the greatest experience.
Sure.
But I would say by and large, he was real good. I mean, his record speaks for itself. I mean, he won 2 national titles in 4 years, and with different players too. Like the guys that won in '97 weren't there in 2000.
Okay.
So it was like 2 different teams and a bunch of freshmen and sophomores. The second goer in 2000 when we won. But yeah, he was great. I mean, I haven't had a whole lot to do with him. Shouldn't say, I just haven't really seen him since college. But no, I like Dean. He was, speed kills was his motto. So the practices and stuff. I remember when I got there, the first practice, I'd never been in a gym before. I'd never done a squat before. I've never worked out before. So getting there and then doing the Ironman and bench press, and I'm supposed to be able to do a pull-up. Everybody's ripping on Sam Bennett. I mean, I couldn't, I don't even know if I could still do a pull-up.
He had a bad shoulder.
I definitely couldn't do one then. And just that whole thing. And my first practice where Dean is go, go, go. I remember my first practice at North Dakota, and I remember, we were skating towards the end. I don't even think we were close to the end of practice. And I remember skating around there, and for 10 seconds, I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to make it here. This is really, really hard. But I get through it, and I'm like, you know what, I'm here, I'm doing this, and get better and have fun with this. And so yeah, in a lot of ways, it was really, really good for me for sure.
Hello, friend. I didn't see you there. I was just enjoying a barn burner blonde here on this beautiful summer day. We wait all year for summer. It is nice to finally have it here, and what better drink to enjoy and quench that thirst than a barn burner blonde from Origin Brewing. They have a Calgary location now. I don't know if you knew that. They had the tap room and the brewery in Strathmore, still there, still pumping out all the great delicious goodness that goes hand in hand with Origin Brewing, but now also a Calgary location. You can grab a 4-pack. You can grab as many as you would like, a keg perhaps, a growler if you'd like, maybe even some Origin merch that I just happen to be wearing. A coincidence, who knew? Friends, Origin Brewing, great partners of Barn Burner, and of course, Barn Burner Blonde. It's a coincidence that we were all here at the same time. Have a great summer, everybody. Origin Brewing.
Have you heard about Dr. Jay Patel at Outdoor.Dental? If you haven't, you should, because you're missing out. We're talking no needles, no drills, and no stress. They have a Celea laser treatment that is phenomenal, an excellent solution for people that have dental phobia. Also, this Celea laser, not just dentistry work, but also can help cure some snoring issues. I personally went to Outdoor Dental, 2 15-minute sessions. They spray on a little topical number. Back and forth, the laser goes over your soft palate. 2 15-minute sessions, and vast improvement in my snoring situation certainly could help with yours as well. For more information, check it out. Dr. J at Outdoor.Dental. That's Outdoor.Dental.
Spring Financial. Unexpected expenses, they'll pop up out of nowhere. They give you no warning. Car breaks down, home needs repairs, you're in a bind. Well, you can borrow money for those unexpected expenses right from your phone and receive an e-transfer within hours. Spring Financial offers online personal loans from $500 all the way up to $35,000 with no stress and no branch visits ever. Join thousands of happy customers who have made Spring Financial Canada's top-rated lender. Apply in 3 minutes at springfinancial.ca/barn. That's springfinancial.ca/barn.
Looking for the fastest personal loan in Canada? Well, look no further. Spring Financial offers fully online personal loans with zero stress and no need for branch visits. But don't take our word for it.
Thank you. Thank you, Spring Financial.
Thank you very much.
Spring Financial is the best.
Apply today at springfinancial.ca.
As always, a big shout out to one of our big sponsors, McLeod Law. Great people. We talk about it on the show. Shane King and Peter Klein and Austin and everybody there. What it is they're Calgary people taking care of Calgary people. You're not getting, when you reach out to McLeod Law, they're not sending you to Toronto or Vancouver or someplace they don't know who you are. These are Calgary folks. They're proud of those Calgary roots. They are here every single day. It's a big part of their long-standing client relationships. They get the way things work, and they want to help you. Whatever your challenge is, business or personal, they're just a click away. McLeod-law.com is the website. The very best. Good people making a difference. McLeod Law.
And we're back with more Barn Burner.
And I ask a lot of college guys about their experience, and not because it's like I'm cheering for it. Like I worked in junior A for 4 years. I love that route. I think if you buy development time, that's a good thing to do. I also think if you're a rock solid stud, like major junior is awesome for that. And here's the thing. I think we can all relate to like, oh, this guy was a high Bantam draft pick and played in the WHL or the O and the Q, and this is what his life was like. I don't think Canadians have a clue what it's like to go live on campus at UND.
I don't think they have much of an idea, no.
And like to explain to them, A, where North Dakota is,
right?
B, like what sport you're playing, and C, how much it means to that state.
Yeah.
Like you're basically like a hockey version of the Green Bay Packers in a way, right? Like people loved that team.
Yeah, for sure. That would be a great way to put it. I mean, obviously, the Green Bay Packers and the NFL is a whole different thing. The Alabama Crimson Tide football as a whole, it's just bigger. But, in the state of North Dakota, which has 1 million and some people, University of North Dakota hockey is number one. Correct. And it's been like that forever. I would say maybe now there's kind of a close little second with North Dakota State football has become pretty big because they've won like 8 national titles in the last 9 years. Not of like the, what is it, FSB? Not the, it's D1. Okay. It's D1, but it's like the second one.
College Bowl,
no. Yeah, not that one. Okay. The next one down. But yeah, North Dakota hockey in Grand Forks is definitely king in that state, for sure. It was fun. It was fun. I had a good time.
You're good at having fun. That's I don't worry about that part with you. So then, Central Scouting comes out. You do get drafted. Walk us towards your first pro game and what that was like. Because it was baptism by fire for Flames fans and Mike Commodore. And it's funny, like we're sitting here chatting and everyone's asking for pictures on the golf course. And you walk around Calgary and people know you. Yeah. You have like some of the fewest games played for the Flames in the regular season of anyone that would ever get recognized. I gotta be down near the bottom. Perfect. You had more playoff games than regular season games for the Flames, and then the lockout after and all that. But it like wild that like you hit it when the iron was hot.
Hit it when the iron was hot.
Bring us to before that because you weren't a Flames prospect. It was your second organization, if I'm correct.
It was my third, actually. Okay. Yeah, there you go. There was a lot of them around. Yeah, I ended up getting drafted by New Jersey, and then went back for one more year. I wasn't ready. I wanted another year anyways, but another big reason was, we hadn't won. And we had of my 3 years at the University of North Dakota, let's say we played 40 games a year, ballpark. Yeah. I mean, we didn't lose 20. Yeah. I would say our record for the 3 years I was there was probably about 100 wins and 20 losses. Wow. We were good. Yeah. And so we were the favorite all year. My first year, we were favored all year. My second year, we might have lost number one for maybe a week or so. But my second year especially, we were supposed to be good.
So you're in the tournament every year.
You're in the tournament every year, yeah. The first year we kind of got screwed, in my opinion. We were the number one seed in the entire tournament. We ended up having to play in the quarterfinals. We had to go play Michigan at their home arena. No. It was a joke. We lost in overtime. They won the national title. And then the next year, we played Boston College in Wisconsin. Okay. We were the number one seed, and we lost that game or whatever. So I wanted one more crack at winning at least, and it ended up working out. Then after that, I had to make my decision. Lou Lamoriello, the GM of the Devils back then, he wouldn't tell me. He didn't want to be known as the guy that was offering money to players, and that was the reason why they left. So I had to tell Lou, I'm ready to come.
He wouldn't tell you you're ready. You had to tell him.
I had to tell him, yeah. And so I did that. And a big reason why I did that, to be honest, I would have went back for my fourth year. I think we would have. North Dakota ended up losing in the national championship in overtime, which would have been my senior year. Yeah. I knew we were going to be good again. Yeah. But at the end of the day, they had that thing where, I started to think a little bit. I was getting a little bit tired of painting dorm room walls white for $3 an hour.
Yeah.
I had no cash. I mean, I was content. I mean, I wasn't, I didn't need much back then. I still don't, but
you know what's next.
right. I'm like, would kind of be nice to get some of these signing bonuses I'm hearing about. So, the main reason I was like, I'm ready to go would be because I'm not sure if it's the same now, but it's like the RJ Umberger thing, where if I would have went back to college, okay, I want another crack at it. And let's say by some total fluke, I have the greatest year of my life, and I have the best year I can possibly have. Yep. I'm an All-American. Let's say I score 20 goals.
Sure.
Lou Lamoriello the signing bonus could have went from $450,000, which I ended up getting after my third year. Yeah. He could have came at the end of my senior year and been like, hey, great year. Here's $5,000 to sign. Yeah. And I have no leverage. My only leverage is I sit out a year, and then I'm an unrestricted free agent. So that was in my mind too. So I decided to leave. But anyways, Jersey was good for me. Larry Robinson was awesome. Slava Tisov was awesome. They had just won the Stanley Cup in 2000. I came that summer.
No kidding, eh?
Yeah. So it was, everybody pretty much there plays in the minors, which I actually, if I was running a team, that's what I would do.
Yep.
But there wasn't much. I mean, the decor was Scott Stevens, Ken Danico, Scott Niedermeyer, Colin White, Brian Rafalski. And like the sixth spot was kind of maybe up for grabs a little bit. There was but somehow I managed to play 20 games that year. I had to scare my 9th game pro. I took a puck to the eye that was no fun. That messed me up for a little while, but I ended up playing 2 years in Jersey. I think I ended up playing 50 some games in Albany and 50 some in the in New Jersey. Sorry. Then I got traded that summer. We had some coaching changes in New Jersey, which didn't help me. They fired Larry Robinson. Larry loved me. He was the main reason why I got a chance. And they fired him, and they brought Kevin Constantine in. And I still, to this day, have never. I mean, I was playing when I got fired in New Jersey. Kevin Constantine, and I kind of get it. He went with the veteran guys. There was some heat on him. But to this day, I've still never even said a word to Kevin Constantine. He pretended like I wasn't even there. So I didn't know what was going on. I would say I could have handled that a lot better. So to shorten the story up, Lou traded me that summer. I made some mistakes at the end of that year and off the ice stuff. And so I got traded to Anaheim. My first run-in with Babs, obviously that went terrible. So I was down to Cincinnati, so I'm back in the minors. And then I still tell him, I don't tell him every single time I see him now, but for a long time, it was every single time. The Flames traded for me. Craig Button traded for me at the deadline when I was in Cincinnati on the road.
There you go.
And every time I've eased off over the last 5 years or so. I mean, it has been 2 decades. But I thank him every time, because if he wouldn't have traded for me, I'm not sure what would have happened, because I definitely wasn't going up to Anaheim with Babs there.
Yeah.
It would have been, I don't think it would have been a good thing if Craig didn't get me out of there. So I let him know that it's very appreciative. And then I was with Calgary.
Yeah, so you were Ducks organization, but you didn't get to play up.
Took one warm-up.
Third organization, but NHL teams in Jersey and then to the Calgary system, and that's another chapter. Take us, like you mentioned the scare with your eye, I want to hear about that. But game one, where are you? Is it the beginning of the year, or because you said it's such a veteran-laden group in New Jersey, is it a few games?
Game one. Game one,
first
period.
Game, period.
Okay.
Where is that, and how much lead up do you have? Can you paint the picture for us here?
Okay, gotcha. I get sent down. I have a very good training camp. I get sent down to Albany. I play 9 games for the Albany River Rats. I take a puck to the eye. I have to go immediately into eye surgery because my retina's detached.
No.
Yeah, it was not fun. Like the worst weekend I think I've ever had in my life was laying at the Turtlebrook Inn, which is a motel, because it happened in Wilkes-Barre. I was with Willie Mitchell because Willie Mitchell got caught up. So I sat in the car with him. We drove to New Jersey. I went and saw the eye doctor the next morning. Within 2 minutes of him, because it might have been a couple days later because my eye was so swollen.
Yeah.
So once he could get in there, within 2 minutes of him getting in there, I was out the door and on my way to surgery. And I remember spending it was miserable. I didn't know anybody in New Jersey. It was like almost a week. I was in the Turtlebrook Inn with a patch over my eye. Light was sensitive, so I was laying in bed. I couldn't do anything. I was supposed to take it easy. I couldn't look at the TV, so I was just listening to it, staring at the ceiling. And the only thing I had to eat in like a week, I would just stumble down to the front desk because they had bagels sitting there. That was it.
You're not supposed to move on that.
I didn't hear from anybody.
Retina surgery is like stay still. Like
It
do
was
not move.
still for a while. They said I could move a little bit,
Okay.
like just nothing like
But, like,
strenuous though.
It's not you can do activities. Like you're
No.
trapped in a room all day.
Trapped in a room. I didn't leave
and
the
nobody
hotel.
you know nearby.
Nobody I know nearby. Nobody.
Oh.
I mean, I'm sure there was the odd phone call. Like, don't get me wrong. It's not like they left me there, but I was there. Like, there was nothing really. You know, they would check in every once in a while, call on the. I didn't have a cell phone, like call on the house phone or whatever. But, anyways, that's 5 weeks out. I come back to play in Albany. I'm playing pretty good, just for a couple more games. And so I think my first game was the beginning of December 2000. I got called up. My first game was in Florida against the Panthers. So it was kind of a whirlwind. I get called up. I remember being in the room. We're going out for the game. And as I'm about to walk out, Scott Stevens steps in front of me and he's like, "Hey, Mike," he shook my hand. He's like, "Hey, Mike, welcome to the NHL." And I remember that. I'm like, "Oh, Jesus." I'm like, "This is for real. Don't turn it over." So got out there. I remember that game going really well. I actually remember thinking like, man, it's not, but in a lot of ways, I was like out there on the ice and I'm like, in some ways, it's easier to play in the NHL than the American League. Because every time I would look up, everybody's where they're supposed to be. The stick's right on the ice. And if I give a bad pass to Scott Gomez, it's off that skate, up to his tape, and he's gone. And I'm like, man, these guys are good. So that was my first game. But I don't remember anything crazy. I was wearing a visor that entire year because of my eye.
Yeah.
And then the next thing I remember, game 2, I scored.
Come on.
Yeah. I played in 3 professional leagues. Played in the American League, played in the NHL, and I played in the KHL. And in all 3 of those leagues, I scored in my second game, which nobody would guess that. They'd probably say it probably took you 80. But yeah, second game in all of them.
Was there like the Scott Stevens moments? That's a welcome to the big leagues moments. Was there like I'm trying to think of off the top of my head a 2000 Panthers roster? Like, did you have a beret rush against you or something like that?
I probably got off
there
the ice. I think he got it.
Because he had a 60-goal a year around then or something close to it in Florida, right?
Yeah. You know what? I don't remember. No, he wouldn't have, because if I would have got torched,
you would remember.
I remember that. So if he was there, I'm sure I would have been getting off the ice.
Yes.
Larry Robinson would have wanted me off the ice. So I don't remember anything. Like, we won the game. Jersey was good. We had a good team.
Yeah.
I don't remember anything. The first like kind of moment I remember that was like kind of a check me back into reality a little bit was because I would think I was up for probably 10, 15, 20 games, then sent back down to the minors or whatever. But the first moment that I remember that was like, oh yeah, these guys are pretty good, was we were in Pittsburgh at the old Igloo, and I showed up for the game, and Larry, like I said, Larry liked me. Larry, my D partner that game was Scott Stevens. Okay. So I was on the number 1 pairing. Well, we're in Pittsburgh. Our job, Larry's like, your job tonight is Lemieux, Yager, and Straka. I'm like, oh boy. I'm like, okay. All right. Yeah, I got this. No problem. He's like, okay. All right. So Scott, and I'm playing with Scott Stevens. I mean, that's a big deal for me.
Oh, yeah. We
go through the first 2 periods. I can't remember all the details, but we were winning the game by at least a goal or 2, maybe even 3.
Okay.
It was for sure 2, maybe 3. I had to have been, Scott and I were like +2 or 3.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Against
like,
the heavy
again,
lifters,
and we were out there. As soon as they were on the ice, we're on the ice. And I'm like feeling great about myself in the second intermission. I'm like, this league is mine. No problem. The end of the game rolled around and we had lost the game.
Oh.
I think Scott and I were -3 in the 3rd period. I do distinctly remember Lemieux putting a pass in the neutral zone between my feet, right on Yager's stick for a breakaway. That was one of the 3 minuses. And so I do remember that 3rd period being like, oh man, catastrophe. But whatever. It was memorable for sure.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Would have liked to finish that one off, but you're going to get lit up once in a while. So I guess if you're going to get lit up by anybody, those 3 aren't too bad to get lit up by.
Thanks for the fun day.
Yeah.
It was
anytime.
great. Did you notice again, even during the interview, we had like 3 waves of.
Oh, I could see you like this.
Blinding light, and then it's
Sunglasses.
raining a bit.
I know. I know. It's crazy because we could have went back out there, but
We
it's
still
like,
could,
yeah, I know you can play till whenever, but by the time we get out there, it'll start raining again.
That is true. If it's sunny now, by the time we're on the cart, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
This has
Next
been
time.
a ton of fun. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
We'll do it again.